Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long Boys Blues, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long Boys Blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975, and welcome to a system overview. As I always say, I say system overview, but system overview is probably a bit strong for what this is. Welcome to a game on a system, a plug and play system, just one game overview. Now apologies if there are discrepancies at the start of this video with the end of the video, because this is the second time I am filming the start of this video because the SD card corrupted. So there's nothing more frustrating as a content creator when you sit there and you film something completely off the cuff, natural, and you know, just completely unfolding as it happens, and then it gets corrupted. But I really wanted this video out there as I'm a massive Street Fighter fan, because you've read the title, you've seen the thumbnail, and I want to take a look at the Street Fighter plug and play. I think it's made by MSI, or is that a D? Or was that a logo? I honestly don't know. One of my friends very kindly sent this to me, and I did look it up, not to be rude to them, and it's about £20 on Amazon, and it's a Street Fighter 2 plug and play straight into the TV. Now, here's the thing, I remember it was about 2006, and it was probably just before I got back into retro gaming, just before I had my midlife crisis and decided to piece together every single Japanese Mega Drive game, and a Japanese Mega Drive, of course, to play said games that I had as a kid. In fact, you could say that that was the genesis, see what I did there, of this channel. And I was in Woolworths. Oh, who remembers Woolworths, the staple of my childhood? Rest in peace. Although, to be honest, the reason you died was you were completely out of touch with the modern market and couldn't compete with the tinterwebs. Anyway, they had a little plug and play Sega Street Fighter 2 machine game unit thing that was like a tiny little Mega Drive that didn't accept games, had two 6-button mini Mega Drive pads hardwired into it, and it came with Street Fighter 2 Super Champion Edition. It had Ghouls and Ghosts on it, and I think it either had a Sonic game or an Alex Kidd. Well, there's only one Alex Kidd game on the Mega Drive. I can't remember. I'm going to go with Sonic, and it was about £15, and I bought it because I think I just had a GameCube at the time, and I have a massive amount of nostalgia for Street Fighter 2, particularly on the SNES, or Super Famicom in my case, like most people do. And I bought it, and it was fun. It was a good fun plug and play, you know, AV component out, little plug and play, and to this day I still regret giving it to a charity shop. It would have been nice to do a little review of it on this channel, but I've never ever seen one since. And the guy from the mall said Mr. T had gone. He was never coming back. Points for the quote. So one of my friends knows this and knows I have a soft spot for Street Fighter 2, so they picked this up and sent it to me. So basically it only has Street Fighter 2 on it, and as it says on the back, it's the 16-bit version. So I'm gonna guess that it's the Mega Drive version, because whenever it comes to plug and play stuff, particularly the Sega stuff, it's always the Mega Drive version of Street Fighter 2. I'm not sure why, because I would personally, even though it doesn't have any turbos or anything like that, I would really love Super Famicom World Warrior on it. But then emulating SNES music is always very difficult to do. But then, to be fair, emulating Mega Drive music is actually quite difficult to do. But that's just a slight point peeve on my part. Let's have a look at the box before we get it out. It has a really nice handle. I cannot tell you how nice the box is on this. They have put some clear effort into it. It has the Mega Drive, apologies for the glare, the Mega Drive box art, and I've never noticed this before. Look at Ryu's eye. It's like this. It's like he's absolutely shit-canned. You have more lovely artwork on the side. Again, Ryu up there, but he's sorted his peripheral vision out. Cover there. on the bottom there where it actually says it's made by Capcom, which is very, very interesting, or licensed directly from Capcom, because these are the people who make it. As far as I can tell, they do make other things. It says on the back, Street Fighter 2 is a head-to-head fighting game in which you pick up 1 of 12 fighters, compete in a grand tournament to crown best fighter overall. Easy to learn, a challenge to master, and endless hours of fun. One player, 16-bit battery requirements for AA batteries, and you get 3 screenshots, in which it makes it look really rather very nice. Since I'm shooting this video in reverse, hold that in mind. And here's the interesting thing: when you go to the front of the box, it's got a CRT telly there. This was released in 2018. That's something else. 2018, and it's only AV, although again you get what you pay for, which is £20. But yeah, so it's got a CRT telly on the front. Excuse me, Windy Pops. This is the wrong series of videos for me to have Windy Pops in. And I've got 4 AA batteries, which is a complete mix match. Because when you're going to review something like this, Dave, 5 batteries. I don't know why I didn't. I've had to scrape 2 of these out of my Oculus Quest 2 controllers. Anyway, first of all, massive points here. It has a pull tab, but it does not have one of the god old stupid spherical clear stickers that whenever you take off, you completely ruin the box. Because a pet peeve for me is, a lot of the times, all of the time I should say, I display these in the boxes, and that's an absolute pisser. But we'll pull out the flap and we'll get into the gubbins of the box. Now, as I said, I have already opened this, so any form of naturalness has gone out the window, but hopefully, because I really wanted to review this, I'll try and put a bit of life into it. It's got an inner compartment where it slides out, which I do actually really, really like. Now, the machine, do I still have the piece? I do not. There was a black tab here fixing the whole machine very, very, very securely to the bottom of the unit, but it was easily removed. So unlike my Pac-Man machine, I didn't completely destroy this. And then there was basically just a cable tie holding this together. It's just your standard AV components, but it is a very nice long lead, so points there. If you lift the unit out, the first thing you discover is that. The second thing you discover is, my god, it slides. Now, I don't know what I was expecting for it to be, but it is very, very light. Like literally a slight breeze and this will go fucking out the window. First observations, it looks really rather very nice. That is not a sticker. I don't know how modern manufacturing processes work. By all means, elevate me, educate me. But it seems to be printed straight onto the top of the unit. So you have the logo, you have Ryu, Ryu, Potato, Potato, and you have Bison. It looks really rather nice. You have 6 buttons, and you have a reset and a start. Before we get into how well, spoilers, not very, these buttons and stick perform. There's a side view, front view, side view, back view. Now that's a blast from the past. That's a proper early 80s memory flashback to quick shot to joysticks there. It's got sucker cups. I really actually rather like that. Personally, I think they should have just put a piece of metal in it that you get in some of the knockoff Chinese handhelds, plug and plays I should say, to make it a bit heavier. But, you know, it's built to a price. However, points for this. There is a hole for a screw, but there is no screw holding the battery pack back on, and I do really like that. It's a pet peeve of mine, it really is. I throw them all out when I get the screws, but I understand that it's put on there to stop children from swallowing the batteries, but the way I see it is get rid of the screw, Darwinism, we thin out the gene pool from all the idiots. Anyway, so for AA's, they are really rather snug in here, which I guess to be fair is what you would really snug, would really rather like. Does it add any extra weight to this thing? Not really. As you can see, I do like, I wouldn't say I'm obsessed, but I do like weight on these units. It certainly feels better. Now, let's have a look. One thing I am curious about is this just a straight port of Mega Drive straight port Super Champion Edition, which is an amalgamation of Turbo and Hyper Fighting, isn't it? Because a little bit of boring Street Fighter history, well, I'm pretty sure you all know this anyway. World Warrior came out on the SNES in 1992. I imported it for my Super Famicom. It cost £75 in 1992. Adjust that for inflation. Amazing box art. That was something I wanted to go with this, by the way. Absolutely fantastic box art. What the hell? Bear in mind, it looks like Mangaree, doesn't it? Mangaree? Mangarish? What the hell were they thinking with the Western box art for Street Fighter 2, the initial one? It was awful. It was an absolute stinker. Why didn't they use the amazing box art from the Super Famicom version? I mean, I was going to say, was it a license thing? But then look at that. I mean, seriously, I hated it when they did that. Like, give it stinker UK and US box art, or Western box art in general, just made it a stinker because the Japanese one was fantastic. But all I know is 1992, summer holidays, winter stays on every day of the summer holidays basically for 6 weeks. It was pretty fucking popular, that summer holidays, I can tell you. Yeah, just doing Street Fighter 2 World Warrior, loved it. So then exclusivity ended and Capcom got someone out of house to do the home port for the Mega Drive. Obviously these machines have so much less memory than the arcade machine for Street Fighter 2, so lots of things had to suffer. But they looked at a somewhat near finished version, which is floating out there in ROM land. I think I've done a gameplay on it, and to be fair, I thought it was absolutely fine. Capcom looked at the Mega Drive one and said, no, 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 that's not good enough, that's not good enough, screw it. We'll do this ourselves. They did it themselves. It's brilliant, as you well know, and it came out for, what, November, basically came out for Christmas 93. I have a Japanese version of it. I didn't have a Japanese version on my Mega Drive back in the day because I had it for the Super Famicom, but you know what I mean. A little bit of Street Fighter history there for you on why it's so ugly. So anyway, right, let's have a look at what this is like. I keep apologising for the glare. The glare. I'm sorry about that. Right, so you got a nice joystick. You think it's clicky, but listen to this. The grinding. Again, you're not going to expect proper micro switches or anything like that in this, but your joystick is of uppermost importance on a game like this. Now, listen to this. The entire box echoes with them. Obviously, again, I wasn't expecting micro switches, but these are poor. It's not micro switches, unfair to compare, I know. It's not micro switches on my Pandora's box, but it's... This is just... In fact, because it happens to be in the room, I'm pretty sure it's not micro switches on my PowerKitty A13, but listen to this. They are soft, spongy, hollow and unresponsive. Again, I know that's because I'm jumping ahead and mix matching the start of this video to the end of the video. These are, yeah, which is just a shame because I personally think quite a large amount of effort has been put into the design of how this looks. I mean, essentially it's a gimmick, isn't it? It's a stocking filler. I know it's a stocking filler. If I got it's a stocking filler, even if it was terrible, I'd probably be quite happy for it because it would know that someone knows that I love Street Fighter 2 and therefore it would make a very good gift. But therein lies the problem if this thing is bad. Knowing that someone absolutely loves Street Fighter 2, if this is bad, that's where the issues ultimately come from. But you can wait to the end of the video to know more about that. So yeah, you know what, 20 quid, I'm harping on a bit about it. My friend sent it to me saying ultimately they didn't think it was going to be very good. There are some bad reviews online about it, so you know they won't take it as an insult if you rip it to pieces. They thought it just could be a fun thing for me to take a look at. I mean, if you look at my post of it on Facebook a week or so ago, I did actually say Jess got very kindly sent this. It's a 16-bit Street Fighter 2 Mega Drive Street Fighter 2. I still don't know, well I do now, but when I initially got this and before I plugged it in, did not necessarily know that for a fact. But yeah, it's a plug and play version of Street Fighter 2 with what looks like to be very bad controls. Could be good for a laugh. Could be good for a laugh. How wrong I was. Anyway, again, sorry that this video is kind of a bit chippy choppy. I filmed this in the middle of the night now. I filmed this bit earlier on in the day. It's a bit all over the shop, and the front doesn't match the end necessarily. But yeah, second time filming it. Second time in this case is certainly not a charm. But yeah, let's jump into the other room. Spoilers, I already know. Let's jump into the other room and plug this bad boy in and see. I hope there's enough juice in the battery, and I forgot to mention that the on-off switch is on the back there. That's what it says on the tin, on or off. No ventilation on this also, by the way. That might play a point. It's going to be a system on a chip, isn't it? It's going to be a system on a chip. They do make other systems, I believe. Not sure what they are. But anyway, I've waffled long enough. Let's jump into t'other room, plug this bad boy into the TV. I'll capture some footage. I've captured some footage, I should say. And yeah, we'll come back here and we'll discuss. Right, plugged in, turned on. MSI, is it DMSI? Is that a logo? Or is that supposed to be like a, quotation fingers, funky D? Ooh, that's a bit rough looking, isn't it? I mean, I know it's AV Ooh, listen to that. I know, like, sound, as I just mentioned, is one of the first, that looks rough as fuck. Oh, first things that most emulators get wrong on the Mega Drive, basically took the Mega Drive Mini and M2 to get it right properly for the first time, but that is terrible. That's all kinds of wrong. That is physically painful. Again, keep in mind, Dave, it's only a 20 quid box. This system is clearly where sound goes to die. I can't really be harsh on the voices, because the voices are shite on the Mega Drive anyway, because they're such small files, you know, when it comes to size, the sample files. But also, it's heavily... What is that? It's got the sound so wrong. When it comes to the music, it sounds like there's two different tracks, one from a completely different game, playing at the same time as the regular Street Fighter music, and they're competing for sound time. It's heavily bordered. Again, I mean, this is obviously a PAL. It's got to be PAL. This is basically, even though the image quality is rough as donkey tits, what poor people with their PAL Mega Drives had to put up with before games were optimized in the early 90s. Not me, obviously, because I had a Japanese Mega Drive. But yeah, I'm being harsh. I'm being incredibly harsh. But then I have to tell you these things. But yeah, it's Special Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2, and again, I'm sure you can get a better image quality than that just with these leads. But you know, it's Street Fighter 2. As I mentioned, you're not going to buy this if you want to play Street Fighter 2 properly. Right, can you hear that? Yep, it's stuck to the top of my laptop. Now, let's see how she plays. I have heard people say that it's impossible to do diagonals on this. Who knows? Right, start. Special Champion Edition, press start. So they have sucked out all the other options. That's what they do. They literally suck it out. So they've sucked out all the other, or taken out, removed I should say, the other options. So there is no two-player option then. I was kind of thinking why if that was left in. Well, no, you'd have to reset. So that's probably, I guess they've just taken it out so, you know, nothing disrupts your game, or you don't get stuck in awkward moments where you can't move anywhere else. Let's go with Ken because he's the best character. Top Fighters, that's all kinds of horrible. All kinds of horrible. Right, so let's give it a go. I don't have high expectations. I'm not being ungrateful. I mean, it was obvious it wasn't going to be. Can I not change the speed then? Because it's regular speed. I guess what they've done is they've had to set it at like a bog standard entry level Street Fighter. So, you know, I guess people of all ages can play it. You know, no, it's not really for pros. Why? I cannot, for the life of me, with this joystick, and I know I'm better on pads than I am on joysticks. I mentioned this in my Pandora's Box review, but if you see me play Street Fighter Alpha on that, you could see me cane the special moves. I cannot do special moves on this stick. Right, fireball. Fireball. That music is beyond painful. Right, Dragon Punch. You cannot. I'm sure there are people out there who've probably got this and will confirm for me that you can. I cannot. Hurricane Kick, Fireball, Dragon Punch. Cannot do special moves. Absolutely cannot do special moves. Immediately, a rather large point of the gameplay is negated by how utterly pants this joystick is. His face is the digital equivalent of the joystick. Right, let's have a go with someone else. Chun-Li doesn't have a fireball in this one, does she? She's just got a spinning bird kick. That's not gonna... I gotta be able to do Guile. I've got to be able to do Guile's move in this. This is rapidly turning into... welcome to Disappointment Town. Population this. So no speed options, bad picture quality, butchered music, awful joystick. Ironically, I can do diagonals. I just can't. Oh, listen to that. Oh. Still, we'll make a lovely case for something, eh? Won't it? A better version of Street Fighter. Right, let's go. Well, at least we can do his. Oh, screen's gone funny. Can you see that? Okay, let me just fiddle with my my leads. Right, everything's set up absolutely fine, so it would appear that its build quality, which we knew, isn't fantastic. Maybe it's got a loose connection. Hey, at least I can do his... The thing is, I can only do his magic because it's got the simplest of movements to deliver him. So yeah, so something else to add to the list, which we kind of knew by the fact that if it's not Sucker Cup down now, it'll float away because there's a breeze in this room. The build quality is shizen. I can see the screen changing colour again. I want to do my upside down floor sweep because that's exactly what it was. I know this, I watched a documentary on Street Fighter yesterday. I always find E. Honda such a cheap character, and especially when you can't do special moves. I mean, you can with him, but I don't find it special. To deliver them quickly, I know there are skilled Guile players out there, but I can't hammer them out, you know, supersonic. See what I did there? Like, Ryu's. Awkward kick. Get some of that in your life. See, you basically break your back, wouldn't you? He's such a fatty that would really hurt you, not necessarily him. That has nothing to do with the gameplay in this. Right, come on. And now I'm stuck with not particularly favourite character of mine. So at least we want to fight, eh? At least we want to fight. So just exactly what is Blanca? And no, the origin from the movie doesn't count. You can do that. Yes, there's no real strategy or combos intended in this gameplay on this version. The joystick just won't let me. But look, diagonals are possible. To all you people on Amazon, because that's where I went to see how much it costs, who said diagonals weren't possible. They are possible.
You win.
This is, do you know what? That's rough as houses, isn't it? Look at it, look at it. That is rough as houses.
round,
Every other system in this room right now with a version of Street Fighter 2 on it is turned away in disgust. Literally, all the boxes are facing the wrong way. Oh! Again, music is horrible. And I swear, do you know what? This joystick's getting warm. How is this getting warm? There's nothing bloody in here. Oh, this is now just a tragic comedy, isn't it? And even though it's only an up or down, doing that seems to be difficult. Right. Got that. Oh, look at it move! Oh, I feel sick. Oh! Actually, I couldn't do a diagonal then. Show off. These buttons are unresponsive as... Well, no, tits are responsive, so that's a wrong descriptive term. They're unresponsive if something's extremely unresponsive on a very unresponsive day.
you lose.
I don't even need to round up. I am going to round up, but don't buy it. It's alright, it's a display piece, I guess. Now you realise the powers I possess. To be fair, mate, you only possess those powers because this joystick is shite. And these keys, buttons, are pretty shite as well. Look at his face. He's going to throw up because he's played this on this stick as well and he thought it looked rough as houses. Right, well, there you go. Let's round up into the room. This ain't going to be pretty. Should you buy it? But quickly, before I get to that point, I had a quick look at the manual. There's basically 2 pages per each language in the manual. See? And all it basically says is, this is your joystick. I mean, it's Street Fighter 2. Even if you're a cheap plug-and-play Street Fighter 2, surely you should at least have a list of the moves and special moves and stuff like that and show you what the buttons do. I guess you don't need to list the special moves when it's clearly impossible to do them on this stick. Should you buy this? Positives. You don't have a screw and a battery flat. I had to come up with at least one positive. That's it. That's a pretty sorry state of affairs, isn't it? Other thing is, as a display piece, it looks really, really nice. Honestly, it does look really, really nice. It all goes out the window the minute you pick it up and you're like, wow. And then you touch these, slightly downhill. You touch that, even more downhill. Again, it's 20 quid, I know that. But the thing is, putting a game like Street Fighter 2 on something like this, you essentially don't make it. You're negating the point. Though that cheap one I talk about at the start of this video with the little really light, airy knockoff, well, it's not a knockoff because it's licensed by Sega. Cheap, small 6-button Mega Drive pads, they work fine. You could do special moves on them. So yeah, that's... It shouldn't exist. It shouldn't exist. Now, is it alright as a stock and filler? Probably. I mean, kind of, because it's a nice display piece, which is forever what it will be for me now. But if you're going to give even a young kid and give this to them and say, hey, you know what? Get into this. This is what we had when I was a lad. Street Fighter 2. You know, if you're not going to be able to play it properly, if you're not going to be able to, you know, not competitively because it's single player, isn't it? Or learn your craft of Street Fighter and appreciate all the nuances and the deep, deep level of rich gravy gameplay that's in there. There's no point playing Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 without special moves is pointless. It really is. You're better off. I mean, there's a million knockoff Chinese consoles out there with better input and better, you know, HD as well, better versions of Street Fighter 2 on it. Put it this way, this is 1/5 the price of my Pandora's box, which has got like 30 odd versions of Street Fighter 2 on it, proper joysticks and proper buttons. So yeah, I may sound like I'm being a bit harsh. My friend doesn't mind. He actually sent me it to say, look, this could be hilarious, and it is. Like I said, it is the Mega Drive version. They've removed options, which kind of makes sense, so you don't, like, two-player force yourself into like a cul-de-sac, if you will. Like, ignoring the controls, what I just said, the controls are awful. The sound even by Mega Drive emulation standards on systems on a chip and stuff like that, where they butcher the sound, I've never heard it absolutely butchered to that level. It is appalling, absolutely appalling. The graphic, first of all, I know it's essentially a 50 hertz PAL version from the 90s of Street Fighter on the Mega Drive, but this was released in 2018. You couldn't have given us a full screen version, or you couldn't have given, like, got rid of the borders and given me a 4x3. Expecting 4x3 options on something like this, I know it's overkill, but I cannot tell you why express enough, I should say, that this is not the game to put on a system that controls this badly. But yeah, AV or not, that image quality is shite. Absolutely shite. It's jagged, it's broken to look at, it's horrible, it's rough as houses. Crap sound, crap image quality, appalling broken controls. I don't know who this is for, other than a nice little, I guess, stocking filler display piece. Because anyone who's played this on this once is not returning to it, I can guarantee that. Might make a nice pie case though. Might make a nice pie case. So yeah, I don't want to sound overly harsh and stuff like that on this, because as I said, it is a 20 quid, you know, plug and play toy. It's a toy, it's not a system, it's a toy. But then you don't put Street Fighter on it, you put Sonic on it or something like that. Sonic might be nice with a 6 button, we wouldn't need 6 button, but you know what I mean, stick like this. But it's, I know it's because Street Fighter 2 is so famous, but it's not, again, it kind of, it's going to make me sound so snobbish, and I'm by far, no means a, you know, an amazing Street Fighter player. So I mean, you kind of, you look at it and it makes you cringe, and you turn your nose up at it, because it's like, you shouldn't, you are an anomaly, you should not exist, because you are a beautiful, wonderful thing, Street Fighter 2, and to see you in this, it's like seeing one of your idols, you know, one of your favourite band idols. You walk down the street one day and they're pissed out of their box, covered in shit because they've soiled themselves, lying in the gutter. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. And that's what this is. Fallen icon lying in the gutter in his own feces, and no one wants to play with it. That's exactly what it is. But I'm not going to lie, it was kind of fun to tear this apart. I knew it was going to be shit. What am I going to do with it? Put it back in the box and never open it again? Or possibly open this up and put something else in there? I don't know. Suggestions, people. Suggestions on what Dave should do with this, and not give it another crack of the whip. That's not on the cards. Anyway, as always, I'd love to know what you think, especially if you have this. I'm assuming that they probably make some more of these. I might have to take the name and bang it into Amazon and just see, out of curiosity, as to what they're making. Imagine they made a Mortal Kombat one of these. Oh my god, imagine trying to do fatalities on this. Anyway, don't want to be a negative bastard, but honestly, this has no redeeming features whatsoever, apart from said battery flap. But it was fun to rip it a new one. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.